Aries, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Chandler. This is your intuitive energy reading for this week. Today is 11/11, and so it's a very highly auspicious, energetic day. Whenever we have synchronistic days, numerologically, it typically means that the manifestation abilities are heightened. We do have a portal open or a gateway, in other words, where we are able to see more clearly, we're able to manifest more rapidly. Okay, and so I hope to be bringing those things that you are working on to the light within the tarot reading of this video. But first we're going to be going over some of the astrology because I think that's also a really important aspect of the energy that we're receiving. Of course, we are in Scorpio season. And if you've listened to one of my other readings and you want to skip over this astrology, I can go ahead and timestamp when the tarot reading will begin. I have gone over this astrology for the other signs as well. So if you've already watched this and you're up to date with the astrology, feel free to skip ahead. So on November 11th today, this is an energetic day of great awakenings. Okay, we have a great awakening happening within our collective consciousness as well as the individual consciousness here on Earth. Mercury is conjunct the sun. It's actually called a Cazimi, and it's at 18 degrees. So 18, obviously reducing to the number 9. This is a significant ending in our lives, maybe regarding some emotional stagnation or places that we haven't been able to move on our own. The sun and Mercury are really helping us create alchemical transformation of these areas. Hopefully to clear or clean up some of those bandages, blockages with direct and clear truths. Where we felt stagnant, we may be able to propel or use the fire of the sun, the energy of the sun, and purify these issues with fire. We are being illuminated in such ways to help us make progressive emotional changes. Because all of this is taking place within Scorpio season, and of course Scorpio season represents those deeper hidden healing traumas that we may not have really wanted to address, but now we are having to, right? We're being forced to. Though no action may be taking place today or even this week, your internal world may shift substantially because of this energy. When Mercury transits the sun today, this is a very rare astrological event. The sun and Mercury are conjuncting exactly, and so as Mercury passes by, it's going to be passing the sun in its brilliancy. And if you have the right telescope, you might be able to see Mercury transit the sun, but our eyes visually won't be able to see Mercury as it does this. And what this energy is doing is it's allowing us to have a larger perspective. Of course, when Mercury is retrograde, as it is already Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, we're having to revisit, take a look back at things, reflect upon things that may have been long overdue. This energy is giving us a broader perspective, of course, with the expansiveness and the idealism of the sun. This is all about authority, agency, and power. This energy is no longer about pointing the finger at others or even ourselves for situations that may felt opposing or suppressing. We can no longer claim that things are black and white, good or bad, right or wrong, or even light or dark, because in this season, we're viewing our situations from the entirety, the fullness of the experience. And by doing that, we truly embrace the spooky, the hidden, the creepy, crawly, shadowy, dark aspects of our own shadows. And by doing this, we can transform them. So let's just say, Mercury retrograde is bringing up some stuff from way back in your past. The sun is helping illuminate what power you have over whether or not you actually feel victim to these things any longer. The full moon in Taurus tomorrow on 11/12 is trining Saturn and Pluto sextile Neptune. This is a period of settling and integrating what you've recently unearthed. Taurus has a lot to do with quality over quantity. It has to do with what we love, what we cherish, what we value, what we're devoted to, what gives us function and purpose in life. And where our value lies may also translate to your finances, setting standards for where your needs are met in the physical. As this aspecting Pluto and Saturn energy begins to take effect, it creates lasting progress and appropriate building for the future. With the reflective quality of the moon, these very fixed or rigid ideas that Taurus has been so stubbornly defending may come into context. And these ideas may involve what we feel we deserve, what we've been prioritizing, or what we've allowed in. And forcing us to really view what we've been prioritizing and question our judgment about these things. Was that really smart of me to do? Was that wise of me to do? May come up. Those feelings of, maybe I need to reprioritize here. Mercury retrograde and the 11:11 portal issues are being further clarified as Mercury retrograde is forcing us to make these lower vibrational issues our priority. So in simple, how bad does a situation need to get before you gain this clarity? How long can you sink before you simply choose to start swimming? Like a snake shedding its skin, sometimes it's an uncomfortable process. But if it has your awareness now, you have the power to change it. This is what is so beneficial of this energy in Scorpio season. Scorpio season oftentimes represents the things that we could not see, the things under the surface, underneath all of the soot and gravel and dirt of the past that we just would rather sweep under the rug. It's coming up for a reason, because as you bring awareness to it, you release yourself from its control. Now is the time to really take a deep look at those truths and what you may have been avoiding admitting to others or maybe even to yourself. Taurus is about beauty. It's illuminating with the power of Mercury and the Sun in Scorpio. So sure, it may be bringing up some of those spooky, creepy, crawly emotions and traumas and things that we don't really want to look at, but we really do need to heal. The discomfort is the process of becoming more high vibrational. And then, once we do that, the physical reality of what Taurus energy really wants to bring us, the material possessions, the beauty, the earthly comforts, the visceral sensations, the health, the wellness, the security, and the Venusian luxury can catch up, and it can be birthed. Tough love is sometimes necessary too in this Tauran energy. So you can show yourself love right now by being disciplined and organized, getting your priorities straight, setting up those healthy boundaries. Sure, Scorpio season can be very desirous and lustrous and visceral and taboo with what we think we want or what we may want because it is wrong in some way, shape, or form. But enlightenment now can also be obtained through comfort and what actually is right. So, what actually comforts the soul may be something much more humble and simple than you originally thought. With fixed Taurus lunar energy, all you need to ask yourself is, how can I get it out of my own way? Venus squaring Neptune will draw focus upon what is possible as well as what may not be real. Venus squaring Neptune has a lot to do with love and the rose-colored glasses that we wear for a time until that honeymoon phase is over, and you may start seeing this person and all their quirks and all the things that they have or bring along with them, and you may not like what you see. There's a bit of an illusion, disillusionment, or even lying to yourself energy. So the advice is to not let the impossible dreams or the ungrounded ideas distract you from what is really truly beautiful in your life, or what could really be nice to have. There's a humility with Taurus energy. So I hope that you enjoyed that spiel of the astrology. Let me know what you think. We're going to start with the tarot. And initially, you guys, I really feel Aries, like you could be going through some of that illusion stronger than other signs. I don't know why I'm getting that, but I do feel it's almost like a directionless energy. You could feel a little directionless or at odds or maybe at a crossroads, and you definitely need some clarity. So I hope that this tarot helps you realize what you're currently manifesting. The Hanged Man in reverse. So this is an interesting energy of enlightenment, something that you've recently realized, either about yourself or others. The Hanged Man is the Neptunian energy. It's Plutonian. It's far out there. It's transcending. And when we're looking at all of the astrology we have, it's no wonder that you're working maybe on shedding some of the skin. Shedding some of the skin, wiping off the dirt of the day. There's been something happen where you feel you need to cleanse and clarify. There's something hanging on you from the old. Though you haven't taken action forward yet, this is the process of integration, what you've learned. Taking no action until you know the appropriate step to take. We have the Six of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which is soulmate energy. Coming out of confusion. This is beautiful. This is exactly what the Hangman is talking about. Coming out of confusion regarding a love interest, someone who you may have known from childhood, a soul, a counterpart. But then, are there actual cooperative measures being made? I feel this is much more about you, Aries, as an individual, as a soul, along the individual path, asking yourselves those very specific questions. How do you get out of your own way? Trying to listen to the universe. The universe is coming through very strongly with what direction you should be going in. But there's an element of surrender and sacrifice here. Yes, Aries, beautiful. We have the Chariot. This is divine orchestration. You are looking at moving forward and putting space between you and your past. The Chariot, we have a lot of water energy. This could be a very emotional move for you. And in fact, I kind of am getting this scenario like where things have not been moving, you are now getting much more in touch with your truer feelings, your soul essence. The Chariot could be you physically moving. It could be you going from a standstill in life to finally gaining some momentum, either in your career or relationships. We have the Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So this is positive movement in such a way that is building a foundation. It's establishing some harmony within a social dynamic, within a friend circle, within a community, or in business. You have opportunities coming your way, and it's important that you meet these opportunities with preparation. This is an energy that came through, I believe, in the Virgo reading last week. Meeting opportunity with preparation is what creates success. This Three of Pentacles is you honing in on your craft and potentially trying to integrate more integrity moving forward. Got a Pika. Where'd that go? Didn't we have one flip over, Aries? That's so weird. Could have sworn we did. Could have sworn we did. It's so strange. King of Cups in reverse with the Six of Pentacles. This King of Cups energy is a challenge. It's one that challenges you emotionally, and I feel that there's a lot of energy of resentment and anger coming up. When we have the King of Cups, this could be someone who is either from your past, it is that potential soul connection, it is that person who you may have spent lifetimes together, challenging each other. I do feel a bit of a karmic tie here that is to help produce the enlightenment coming to you now. But the King of Cups is someone who is emotionally unstable or unavailable. They're potentially an inappropriate lover. They're someone who either gives way too much or too little to a relationship. Putting in context what it is you need to move away from is important during this time. As, again, just to reiterate, you're trying to establish something much more long-term for yourself. You may have a new suitor coming in, and unless you are emotionally available to this person, this opportunity may pass you right by. There's something about needing to put distance between you and your past to make room for other things. There could be apologies to be had. I'm getting that energy because this is so emotional. I don't see much of your own energy here. I do feel resentment. I feel anger. I feel regret. And I feel rejection as well. This energy especially can come through in areas of life that deeply affects our interpersonal relationships, as it typically doesn't have to do with one relationship, as it probably has to do with an overarching theme in life. What I mean is, if you're experiencing this energy, it is truly a time to heal deeply traumatic wounds, potentially from father figures in your life, potentially from previous lovers, potentially from ongoing cyclical relationships that may be stemming from abandonment. It may be stemming from insecurities of feeling inadequate or unworthy, settling. This is exactly the part of you that you are needing to heal and put in your past for good, because this is a replicating energy. This is a vibrational energy that only knows how to align with energies like itself. And so if you are one of the Aries that I'm connecting with today that have experienced abandonment issues, deep codependency, regret, or even a remorse over past actions such as emotional abuse, pulling, clinging, or simple feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. These can range so broadly for those who I'm connecting with today. But I think through this gateway on 11/11, you'll be able to understand maybe the larger overarching picture of your relationships and where it is the divine is trying to get you to go. Because you do have an opportunity to start building something today. You do have an opportunity to start putting more integrity into your work. And if your relationships are any consideration to how far you are in life, then that could be considered your work, right? How to build a relationship is a skill. How to maintain a craft takes daily effort. You, I see, want to build a foundation. You want something for the long term, but you're really having a hard time letting go of things in the past that you know don't fit into that picture. So we have the Two of Swords and the Six of Wands. Whatever this has been, I feel like it could have been a fairly difficult situation, because not only did it involve ideas, these fixed or rigid ideas in your mindscape, your belief systems. It may have really challenged your integrity, your ego, your identity or sense of self. There's energies here that may go very deep, but it wasn't by chance that these circumstances came into your life. In fact, I think if you are able to view them in a different place or in a different way, you might see a different version of yourself. And that's really the point of Scorpio season. That's really the point of Scorpio season, to be able to really see our shadow selves, see under the right circumstances what exactly we're capable of. Maybe when put under pressure, maybe when we feel exposed or vulnerable, which I think for you, Aries, is the case. You're potentially very afraid of feeling vulnerable. And so the universe is bringing you some of the most extreme of circumstances to get you to really look at these wounds. What is it that you're afraid of being exposed? What kind of skeletons in your closet are you afraid of being revealed? There's an energy here of being publicly aware of something, or someone being publicly aware of your wounds because of the actions that followed them. It's most of the time when people get the biggest lessons, they get the biggest lessons right after they've done something that was, completely out of their character. And it's that revelation that they too are capable of these things. We all have these shadow aspects, in other words. We all are capable of great and terrible things. And I feel like, Aries, you've been sort of unwilling to look at these issues. You've been sort of unwilling to open up to maybe receive that criticism. And I would say that maybe with this Six of Wands, that there's a social dynamic that's extremely important to you. You really don't want people to see these parts of you. But it's important, because this is the part of you that will be the most liberating. Right? We can deny, but really where there is power is in telling the truth and being honest about it, right? Like, yeah, I went there. Yeah, I did that, and I don't feel good about it. There's a feeling of, that question. It's like, how can I get out of my own way? Aries, I think that you are really having to take a look at yourself during this time. Because if you're feeling at a crossroads and you're feeling blocked, it's because you're blocking yourself from your truth. If you can't admit your truth to yourself, how will you ever admit it to other people? We have Four of Swords, 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So whatever you're having to leave behind, you may have felt like it was a big sacrifice. You may feel like it's a big sacrifice. You may feel like you've lost a great potential in these actions taken. But in this decision, there actually is a lot more spiritual enlightenment to be had. And the Four of Swords is really needing to recover and recoup. I know that that's hard right now, Aries, because I can see your actions being, that almost in denial of how you feel. And maybe that's because you're trying to appear strong or trying to appear unaffected by the circumstances. But I will tell you that's the opposite way of how the universe wants you to go. If you would like to manifest something better than this energy, you've got to turn this around. You've got to turn this around, and you've got to start working on your craft. But that may involve some constructive criticism as well. Does that make sense? There's a humility here with the full moon in Taurus. And if you don't take the appropriate time to integrate and go through the process of shedding these painful, uncomfortable layers of the hidden wounds and the trauma, the things that we don't show people. I mean, it's very clear that you really are concerned about people seeing this side of you or knowing the truth. Because, again, you're not speaking on it, and you're not showing how this actually has affected you. And in which case, that is your choice. This is a choice to be made. And until then, you may find that this process is just sort of prolonged. But I will say the universe is directing you quite effectively. Okay, so eventually, like we said, with this full moon, it could be kind of challenging for you because it's about being forced to reprioritize and really having to make these low vibrational issues our priority. And it depends, of course, how bad a situation gets upon your own choices. How bad does the situation need to get before maybe you start talking about it? Maybe how severe do the consequences need to be before you release the resistance and start to move accordingly in the universe's direction. What else, Aries? So there are very deep wounds here associated with relationships. There's a maturity level here. So you may feel like you just attract immature people. You may feel like the people who you've been involved with are very low vibrational and they just don't care. But in contrast, I kind of see you maybe acting that way as well. I see you acting kind of immature or kind of like you don't care. And so that's the vibration that you really need to pinpoint with this energy, because that's going to be a very cyclical energy for you to carry through into the new decade. And given the process I see you currently undergoing, I don't know if you're really excited about that. So there's little to no communication going on here. There's quite a bit of sabotage, potentially, in your past or present. And I feel it really stems from feelings of inadequacy. So, Aries, we have Chiron kind of playing a major role here as well. I don't have my notes pulled up here, but Chiron essentially represents our deep wounds. So you may look at your natal chart and see where your Chiron placement is in. I'm feeling that for some of you that this reading may resonate with, it could actually be in a watery placement. It could be in either Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. I do see quite a bit of water initially to propel this process for you. It's a very emotional process regarding rejection, denial, unhealthy boundaries, insecurities, that could have something to do with your Chiron placement. So if you have a Cancer Chiron placement, then these feelings would be validated for you, that your biggest challenge in life and why it may be coming up in such a transformative time in our astrology and in the energy field of the collective is because this is the exact nature of yours that you are being forced to look at and heal. But like I said to the other signs as well, this is going to be well worth your time and effort. This will be very transformative. This will be a gift once you begin to know yourself more. Knowing yourself creates the deepest of awarenesses. And when you can be fully aware of yourself, then your surroundings become more clear. Then your relationships become more clear. And so to start building on this foundation that I see you wanting to build, you really have to make a decision and maybe open up to being vulnerable and to the fact that mistakes have been made. Sabotaging efforts were made. Action or inaction translated to where you are now. And so taking accountability of that is first and foremost the most powerful thing you can do. You are not a victim to this circumstance. And I kind of want to ram that home. You're not a victim. This was divinely orchestrated to get you to look at you and to look at yourself and to look at what it is you can do to liberate yourself. There are some situations we have little to no control over, other than what we do with ourselves and how we respond. And some situations will bring out the shadowiest, darkest, just creepiest kinds of crawliest emotions within us that we're not so proud of. But in those times, it's really where we get to reprioritize and look at ourselves as if to say, I don't want to be put in that position. I don't like that version of myself. I understand it better now. I accept that I did that. I accept that I was there, but I know better the environment that serves me. So Aries, I hope that this resonated with you. I wish you luck this week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.